The only one that wasn't on this board when this was voted on was Gail.
Right.
Now, who here remembers the $50,000 being a turnkey job?
Well, actually, I do, because I was here when they presented it.
A turnkey job for $50,000. So those guys that was charged with this needs to be responsible somewhat.
So there were two entities. We bought the building that was pre-engineered, and then there was a contractor that actually set the building up. So I'm not sure, again, that's more of a legal question, but I just want direction from you, what you want to do with this thing, because it's driving me nuts. I was gonna suggest tearing it down, but it's actually gonna cost more.
Well, kinda like the carpet, I'm glad to say I wasn't here for this. However, I agree with what Jamie's saying, somebody needs to hold some folks accountable, but I agree with Bill. Can we just move forward? I've been hearing about this thing now for 13 months, and the maintenance guys still don't have anything, so, you know, can you guys give Bill some direction on what y'all would like to do? My suggestion, I quoted something a minute ago, I want you to go back and look at your number, you said about $8,000 to $9,000 for the concrete slab, that's incorrect. The cheapest bid that you've got is $23,000, the most expensive bid you got was $99,000. I can tell you, it should cost you right at $16,000.
Let's see, concrete. Concrete for the shed, oh, it's 11,000.
Who was that bid from? Because
That's Greg.
So Greg came in after those three. Now y'all,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, please give that to all the board members, because this board has been duped, obviously, or the board's not paying attention, the board doesn't have any experience in this, because the other cheapest bid that we had was $23,000 from somebody.
Yeah, 23 for a 6-inch with a floor drain. Greg he's already done the gravel part, because I needed to get it level so we could, we still have to brace that building. The building was never braced. So the winds are gonna come and rock that building, and it's gonna literally fall apart, so we gotta go in and brace it.
In the corners.
Yeah.
So Brad's is cheaper because he's already done the gravel work.
Well, actually, his was cheaper to begin with, because he had a much larger bid. We were gonna try to put an office in there, and it's just not working out.
What is this, how thick is this slab gonna be?
6.
6
It's gotta be
inches?
6 inches to hold the weight of the equipment.
And Mr. Greg thinks he can get that much concrete in there
That's
for
what he
$6,000.
said. Inside, 6 inches depth, 40 by 60. It's gonna take in, he says,
I'm telling y'all right now, you need to hire the man and have him up there tomorrow, because that's not, that's,
yeah, because again, well, he bid at 50 by 60. I'm not sure why he did that. Grab will also include the aprons. This guy also includes the aprons, but he's double 23. And that's,
and it's 6 inches, the 23
6 inches.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the board, because of this mess we've got ourselves in, that's a tag on board, and I've done the math, and I know how much concrete is gonna go up there. I don't know how it's gonna get done. But that's the contract.
And those are the two.
Is that the concrete, the doors?
Is that the steel rebar and everything? There's nothing missing from that bid, right?
Correct. The additions will be, he's got doors broken out, he's got electrical broken out. We'll have to bring electrical, but it's gonna be basically a standalone on the outside, bring it on the inside, standalone. And then he also bid on here, restrooms in the building, but we're just gonna put a sink in the building and use the modular for the restrooms and the shower.
And the whole time, everything's fine, everything's good. It's all good. The whole, what we were.
Yeah,
The whole
and-
entire contract.
And
From
typically,
who? From who? Cold Field?
I have to go through that again, but typically, what you get when you get a bid is level pad building on top of it. You got none of that. You got the building. And it's like 14 inches out.
Go back and explain what you mean it's not braced. How's it not braced? It's been up there all this time, it's not braced?
It's not braced, yeah. So building like this, it has no, it has no protection this way.
Got an entry board over.
Right, so you've got to get some 2x6 bracing in there to keep it from doing this.
Building on the insurance?
Yes.
Can we get the maintenance department to go ahead and put those in? Because that's pretty important.
Yeah, we're gonna get them to do it.
Okay.
I mean, Brad can do it in a day or two, or we can do it. I mean, it's on the plans, so it's not like it's that big a deal, but.
Gary, I have a gap if you need it, just let me know.
We need to save the building, or we need to get rid of the building. And at this point, my recommendation is save
Sounds
it
got
and
too
try
much
to
money
move
for us
forward.
up there now.
So,
All right, I'm asking the board for y'all to have a discussion right now about, I'm telling y'all to go forward with Mr. Gregg on that concrete. That is a fabulous price.
it actually is, and it'll go up about 6% in January.
We need to view the other bids.
I can show it to you, that's no problem. Greg's a little bit lengthier because he, at that point, was doing an interior like a pedestal to put an office on. We're not doing that. So if you just look at the concrete, and it's about in the middle of the page here.
Does this include the doors or not?
No,
We're
Greg
just talking about
included the
concrete.
doors. We're just talking about concrete, that's the most important thing right
We
now.
can take the backhoe up there, we can. there's a lot of
Because the
things.
doors I can shop. Greg found the doors for 4,500 each. I think I can get it for 3,500 each, but, because we use automatic garage door out here.
Yeah.
And if I call them and see where I can get a price over here, I don't know what labor and materials are for doors, so that's what I have to go find out. So, but we have a contract that we've used.
Well, I trust your judgment. It looks like you've done your own work, and it looks like that everything's gonna be in line. So I'll make a motion, we accept this bid. Ever how much? 11,000?
For the concrete.
6,000 for concrete.
No,
Or is it 11,000?
It's 11,000 for
Okay.
concrete.
That's still, it's spectacular.
$11,000 for concrete.
That's actually a really good price. He's,
Completed turnkey concrete job.
yeah,
And I'm telling y'all, if you do the math at 6 inches for that PSI of concrete, you can't buy that concrete for $16,000 or less.
yeah, I don't know how he's doing it, but I'll call him tomorrow and double check that. So,
No, Mr. Gregg's a good contract. It's,
yeah,
maybe he's got somebody we don't know about the concrete.
All right, one more time,
Yes.
making sure. We're including the floor drains and drain labor or not?
yes,
Okay, then we're including under slab installation?
yes.
Okay,
So you're looking right at 15 on his bid versus 23 on the other bid.
okay. Got it.
It's still cheaper.
And he's already done quite a bit of that work, so all of the gravel underneath is all done. So now he'll go back in and smooth out the
How many
gravel,
yards?
put in the forms, pour the concrete, and then he'll just have to do a small part of the drain. So,
It's finished and everything?
yes, yeah, and then we'll be looking at doors, openers, heat, electrical, and a little tiny bit of plumbing.
So,
Because we'll need a sink.
Yeah, right here.
it was 174.
It's Chandler Concrete, the,
Oh, he's getting the
Not
Chandler.
the doors.
That right there is just the cost of the concrete. Just the concrete, not the,
No.
and that's a.
That's material cost,
That's
yeah.
just the material, that's not.
does this include the
Nothing,
agent?
that's why
Can you
I
have
asked.
this question?
Does
I
this,
deal with
this
Joe.
concrete that includes that?
His labor is the next line down.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
The drain labor, and the foundation.
The floor,
Yeah.
does it include the agent?
For, I
That's what
think
he
it's
said.
$13 per
Yes.
feet.
We've got that paper out front, so just to drop.
Yeah, no, he includes the acres, both of them include acres on both bids.
If you look at the building, when it first was put up, and you go upstairs,
Yeah,
the front part of it is down below grade level.
yes.
They fixed it.
He's actually already fixed that.
Excuse me, go ahead, now.
Yeah, when he went out and, sorry, we had to put gravel in to try to help stabilize the building and so that we could make use of it. So when he did that, he fixed some of it, had to move some stuff around. He had to bring in some of that road grade gravel and compact it down to get the floor level so he could put gravel on top of it, loose gravel on top of it. So we've got that done now, and we got a real good price on that, and we have money, so I went ahead and did it, because that gravel's gonna go up, like I say, 6 to 8%.
I have a motion to move forward with the concrete slab portion of the building at less than $15,000 for Mr. Gregg. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Do you wanna do anything with the original construction? Like direct the attorney, or?
That, Mr. Johnson, this is all previous to me, and so if y'all would like to get, I guess, I didn't know that he was an investigative arm of the town, but if you, I agree with what you're saying. I'm afraid the person that we're discussing is going to believe that he was in over his head and didn't have the training experience to be doing what he was doing. Put it back on the board, but that's y'all's fault for putting him in that position. That would be my defense if I was him. But yes, you guys, this board has had its head taken off. So, this is open for discussion. Ms. Gill, I know that you're too involved in it.
I believe I wasn't here.
For what it's worth, I will say inflation I'm sorry, inflation is a huge issue. Everything, building costs have gone through, I mean, no, when he kept saying turnkey, I swear he was saying turnkey as in the company that comes and constructs the building.
Yes.
The posts, the walls, the roof, the trusses, you know, that is what I thought Cole meant when he said turnkey.
Yeah, and level. So, yeah, what they've had to do is go in and build individual, they put in a footer and then built individual piers for the post to sit on, but they never leveled it. So we're looking kind of like this, it's a weird, like this corner is like exposed, and this corner's underground, and this corner's a little above grade, you know, so it's just
The building's
weird.
never put to grade, the ground's never put to grade before the building was put up.
Correct,
Our thing is the board, no matter who we put in charge of this, whatever else. If he was in over his head, he didn't realize what was going on, he doing whatever else. But it ultimately comes back to us as a board.
or maybe that contractor, I don't know. Without a contract, it's hard to.
Well, another question is that
It's
you
more
said,
of an
Yeah,
attorney
because
question.
I think turnkey may mean one thing to one person and one thing to
Right.
another.
So
it
all-
should be it should be specified in the contract, and if you're sitting here telling me that the posts are uneven, the county inspector know that?
Yeah, he passed it,
There was no
so,
permit pulled.
yeah, we eventually got permits.
So
Right
how
before
does
I
he
got,
how does he know that we went deep enough with the post concrete?
don't know, probably dug them out to see.
I doubt that very seriously.
There
Yeah.
were no permits pulled ever.
We've got them now.
They have permits now.
Sandy's, yeah, Sandy
not
pulled them out.
I'm not sure how they got a permit, because if you go out there, there's electrical wires real close to that building, which doesn't meet the building code, so, it creates a dangerous situation.
So it's a 40 by 20 building.
40 by 50?
40 by 50.
Yeah, 40 by
And,
50.
and Mountain Electric, when he was up there the other day, I mentioned that, and he said that the lines are close, but they're probably okay.
Yeah, I'm
That
more
was their
on the building
engineer.
code than the
Yeah.
electric company, but
We never had a permit until after the fact.
after the fact,
The building was never, the ground was never put to grade.
correct,
The building was just come in there and said, put the building right there, that's where they did the building,
yeah.
and it's,
I'm not even sure.
The front part of the building, excuse me, let me
Yeah.
finish this,
Yes, sir.
The front part of the building was actually below grade.
Yes.
The doors would have had, when they closed, when we went down below the ground. The back of the building was 16, 18 inches higher,
16, yes.
before you put concrete in there, you know. It was, just to drive by and look at it, it was a mess.
Yes.
I brought that to the attention of this board. I wanted to know about the permit. We didn't have a permit.
Correct.
We obtained the permit after the fact, after the building was already put up. If it's lack of supervision from the board of who we are charged to do it, that falls back on us, whether we like it or not. We're the board that makes the decisions. If you're gonna have somebody in charge doing the job like you're doing, it's up to us to see that you're doing the job.
Yes.
If you're not, and we allow it to go on, that's our fault as a board.
Oh, my permit.
Yep.
Well, that's what it is.
Well, you probably should hire folks that have the right background to be in that position, not somebody who's related to somebody because they worked at, the power company together. I think that's the crux of the issue with Mr. Benfield is he had not a clue what the heck was going on when it came to this.
Nobody's blaming Mr. Benfield. Was the contract with the building company?
It falls on Mr. Benfield's position, that he's the one that came to the board and purported to y'all that it was a turnkey building. You know as well as I know, we're in the process of doing the same two-bay building, but maybe five feet shorter. It's gonna be $38,000, and when I say turnkey, brother, the doors, the concrete, everything's gonna be in there.
Yeah, that would be my interpretation.
That's $38,000.
As I understand it, there was a design firm that designed the building, we bought the building, they suggested a contractor, the contractor came out and built the building. So, having been a regulatory official, I would go after the contractor because he didn't get a building permit.
That's what
So-
I'm sitting here saying.
Yeah.
It's not the past employees or nothing, it's the contract.
Yeah. There was a
But it's-
professional
but-
contract.
But you have a Gary for that position who is responsible to oversee that. Gary, I mean, I can assure you, Gary's smart enough to know, well, we're building something, we probably need to have a building. So at some point, Colby and that building contractor should have had that conversation.
Some part of me says, no, it would fall on the contractor regardless, that it wouldn't be necessarily.
Under the building code, it falls under the contract.
Yeah.
Whoever is actually doing it has to get
Like
it.
if we hired someone to put a mile worth of pipe and infrastructure to Mountain Glen,
Mhm.
would that always fall back on Gary, or would that fall back on the contractor?
No, Gary would provide oversight for the contractor, but neither one of us are qualified to do that where it's highly technical. So we would just make sure that we're keeping you up to date. We're looking at plans, you know, we've got a set of engineered plans, we've got a permit in our hands. So we're
Lovely
just-
liaison between,
Right.
but it all falls back to the contractor.
Yes,
So,
But that's the thing, it's the contractor's fault that no one was held accountable and nobody followed the steps to see that, oh, wait a minute, you didn't do this first, or you didn't do that. That's the accountability part.
Gerald, correct me if I'm wrong. As a property owner, if I go and I hire a contractor to build something, the county comes to me if I don't have a permit, correct?
They come to the, well, yeah, it's the owner's
Responsibility ultimately.
yeah.
to pull the but then once once you get a contractor, ultimately, it runs back downhill. You're gonna come after the contractor. if they don't
Correct,
do
yeah,
their
correct.
job. Yeah.
But the homeowner or the property owner is responsible because your name is on that same
Yeah.
permit.
Yeah.
My point is nobody in the town was overseeing that.
Well,
That's my point.
what the statutes are gonna say is if a contractor is involved, there's a set of statutes for a contractor, and that says in there, he has to pull or make sure that all permits are pulled.
That's,
The property owner is ultimately responsible for anything that goes on his property,
This
but
guy,
the
this
state's
guy's
gonna
not
have
about
to
licensed
contract.
contractor. This guy was an erector is what he was. The guy that came and put the building up is.
I'd have to go check and see, I didn't dig that far into it.
Let's move on and leave this for another day.
Okay.
We can do the background on it, sue the contractor and all that, well,
it'd be great. I've never been up to see it, but I think I understand kind of where we're going, so.
Yeah, he can take it anytime you wanna go. Okay.
So I can understand.
I will agree. If Jamie says we're gonna move this to another date, let's set the date that we're gonna do this and say we're gonna do this and it's put off till another 2-3 meetings down the road. If we're gonna look into this, let's look into it and settle it once and for all, until we can move on with other things and not be hung up on the same thing every other
I
month.
hear you, Kenny. I like your attitude.
well, let's go, let's look
Let's
at
end
it
that
in
for you.
January. How about, we'll give Bill time to do the research, and then we'll revisit in January.
I think we need to set a time to revisit it and
That's January meeting,
January 3rd, I think.
January 3rd.
do you think that contractor ever was made aware that no permit was pulled?
I'm sure he's quite aware of it, having dealt with
The
contractors.
crew, listen to me, I drove up there and saw the crew. The crew was, no offense to anybody, but a whole bunch of Hispanic guys that were up there, were sent up there just to erect a building. That's
Yeah,
why
they
it was poorly done, that's why it was set up the way it was set up. I'm telling you, this is, y'all got it.
I'm just not sure why some things didn't occur in the building process, like the cross bracing and all that, but,
If you can go back through the minutes,
Do we have a contract on?
no, it's just an estimate.
It's only an estimate, and it's just saying, we're gonna put this thing up that we got.
Yeah,
That is all it is. It doesn't say anything about any grading or,
Right.
you know,
And that's-
anything like that.
and that's the problem I have.
Site preparation,
Yeah.
you know, that's not in there.
Still in.
that's the problem I have with it, is
Yeah.
this is as far as I've been able to dig back.
And that's what I keep asking.
And it sounds to me, and I'm certainly not an engineer, it all starts from the fact you didn't start with a piece of ground that was lit.
Right.
It came, that's where all the things starts.
if you're gonna build anything, the first thing you do is put it to grade. That's common sense. It was never done to start with.
Yes.
They bought a building and said, put it up. Like,
And
if
then
I
they
buy-
sent a crew out there,
Yeah,
ground up, sorry.
If I buy a building and tell somebody, come out here and put it up out in the parking lot,
yeah,
that's all they're gonna do. They're gonna put it up.
right,
If there's no other specifications put to
Yeah.
it, there was no oversight on this thing.
yes, sir.
It was a mess.
I have to agree, yes.
Building without a permit to start with. The county coming in, if they didn't come and inspect it, they didn't have a permit. Why would they be there to inspect something if there's no permit?
Right,
Now we have a permit that was issued after the fact.
yes.
That don't fall. Was
Yeah.
there recommendations from the building inspection then?
I haven't seen the permits, I don't know.
Well, that's what we need to have,
Yeah, I've got a
to
call.
be able to look at everything before we can make an informed decision.
I've called them, and hopefully I'll get a copy of the inspection report.
There's something in that, on the left side, they've got one of them plastic things that they use to
Oh.
tie stuff.
Okay,
There's paperwork in that.
we'll grab that and bring it here,
Okay.
please.
Feel free, I'm taking open bets on this outfit is not a licensed contractor. It is-
Yeah, I haven't looked them up yet, so I
And
don't know.
at $30,000, that's the cutoff where you've gotta have a license.
Yeah,
And it's 45.
Conveniently.
Yeah, conveniently.
It was 30.
It's 15 amount of material, that's just labor. That's all it is.
So,
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's no licensed contract, that's why.
so we'll bring back, I guess, an update on this and make a decision. You guys already passed a motion to do the concrete, so we're gonna go ahead with that. Okay.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, $15,000 or whatever it was, to get Mr. Drag out there, like, before it gets cold, we have to have plans.
Okay,
All right, moving on to the next thing.
do you wanna do that, or you wanna flip and do the dog park first, or?
We can, if you like, that's fine.
This is a what?
I'm easy going, we're going
Dog
to the
park.
dog
I'll
park.
go to the dog park and then this park.
If that's all right with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, a couple of meetings now, we've been talking about dog park, so I've wandered the town and tried to look around. Gary actually came up with a pretty good idea, and I think it was your idea, or one of your ideas, but, what's the name of the park? Gary?
The little one behind my church.
No, the bigger one, the pond right back here.
Oh, Jamaica Bottom.
Yeah, so, this area?
Yeah.
So we're looking at, this area right here, between the trail, the, water, and the parking lot, and the pond. Fencing it in, we'll get proper fencing, just a, nice vinyl coated chain link fence. And then, we were talking about design, we gotta have like a double gate system, so that you open one gate, close it, and then open the outside gate. Put in some furniture for people, maybe some stuff for the dogs, plant a couple extra trees in there. But it's a pretty large area, and it's really popular, so people can still walk around, they're not impeded on the trail. And there's a lot of people going there all the time, because they're going downtown and they're coming there, so. That was, in looking around, we looked at where the restrooms are across the way over there, but we thought that's gonna be a little bit more challenging, because we might cut off the restroom and limit the size of the park and put bins in it where you couldn't see what was going on, so that was a nice wide open area. So just looking for thoughts, yes, no, look for a different spot,
I think that's a great area.
and I think
That's
that,
all for a lot.
so I've got another drawings, you guys can look at it.
I'm kind of fencing it in, tell me if I'm right.
What's that? This area?
Yeah,
Yeah, this area right here, actually all of this area. Well,
that much,
yeah, well, as much as you want, that's the area that we kind of designated out.
that's way too much.
Yeah.
Was way too much, can't close all this. Mine, the dog park and everything, I'm looking at this picture, there's a restroom in Shoemaker Bottom.
Right,
Here's Barnsley Street, back over in here, there's a residence. I
Yes.
just wanna make
Is this a
sure
dog park for small dogs or for all dogs?
all those.
Okay, there needs to be a big.
Because the vet, if you look at, the vet brings their dogs over here and exercises on the trail.
We need to make sure that it's far enough away from somebody's residence there.
Well, that's why I put it across the street in the existing park, kind of, back over in that area.
There's an area back there you
We
can't go
got
all the
3
way
areas.
to.
Yeah, we can't go all the way toward the pond, there's like a low area back there, I think you can kind of see it in the photo.
Stay stocky with
I'm
it.
pretty sure it's 3 days. of
Right in here, you can't get into this area at all, it's wet. So we may end up just like cutting it here, but right, roughly in that area. And then we would just have a gate over here to get toward the restroom, and a gate right here to get to the parking
You
lot.
are smoking crack.
How much we paying for that?
I don't have it, because I don't know, I just haven't really guessed yet. I'm at the very beginning of this.
There was money, there was at least $5,000 set aside for
flag it so you can see with your own eyes. This is not, a dog park where you can go out there and it's the size of this room and you just let a little chihuahua run around.
No, it's gonna be about 3 times the size of this room.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice dog park.
It'll be about the size of the building, really.
Have a couple of features out there, food hole, and the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, we'll put a couple of obstacles for dogs, we'll put a couple of, benches for people to sit in, maybe a gazebo, so people are in the shade, plant a couple of trees so we have summer shade.
Well, when we have a complete plan, then we'll know what to do.
Well, if this is an okay place, I'll start developing a plan.
Yes.
If you wanna move it to a different spot in
I
town,
think that's great. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
I think it's a
Because
good place for it, let's just find out what it's gonna be before we.
okay,
vote.
yeah, I'm not asking you to vote for it, I'm just saying, if this is okay, this is my direction, I'll keep going from here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a great.
Let's kick it down the road one more month.
Do you want a motion
It's
on?
been 13 months so far.
Yeah,
need
that'd be
to
good.
make a motion.
Thank you.
Well, I knew that we had it at this position.
I have a motion that we have this location for Bill. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Okay. Awesome,
Spectacular.
thank you.
13 months and counting on the dog park. Move forward. I know, I'm just.
Next month, we'll come back with a design and some estimates, and we can knock that around, and,
And nice food poles, please.
yeah, we'll have a couple polls up with, I'll have to tell you my story, but,
Okay, let's move to employee bonuses.
okay, it's not me.
Miss Jessica, you pulled the numbers in 2021, we did $500 for everybody but one Little League police officer because he was new and he only got $250. Last year, the town administrator actually did his job, thank you very much. And he paid by, what's that terminology?
So in 2020, let me back up, 2020, they gave everybody 500.
Okay,
And in 2021, he did it by leverage.
by the way you're supposed to,
Yeah,
correct.
You did about what?
Like what?
by the time, well, not leverage, sorry, by the time, longevity, sorry, wrong word, my bad, yeah. And it was,
Since we have gone past the typical date when this is handed out before Black Friday, we would like to get this thing resolved so we can move forward for the fine employees of the town of Newland. So I'm opening this up for discussion. Anybody have any suggestions, recommendations? What would you like to do?
Yeah, at some point, we made a motion last year to make it the same thing every year, so we didn't have to cross that bridge every year. Did you find anything
Well, I was gonna ask for that.
about that? That's what I want this year.
so, okay, in the employee, sorry, Bill, in the employee handbook, like the, employee policy book, it just says that the end of year, which I think I emailed it to, would be based on what you guys decided, yeah.
Would be based on what?
What you all decided.
Okay.
It's not like it's not the same thing every year, it depends on what you guys decide.
Something that should have been worked on in budget time, so it's not brought up every year to the same thing, to start discussing going back and forth. It's something, we didn't do that in budget time. We said a thing, we did a study to bring up everybody's wages to be comparable in other towns around. Everybody got a raise, I think, most people did. Everybody got a substantial raise. It come budget time, it had been proposed for a 2% cost of living raise. I advocated 3%, and it was passed at 3%. The employees have had 2 raises this month, for this year. And some of it's come about in mid-budget time, and whatever else. My way of thinking, we're gonna have to set a solid policy, probably can't sit here and do it tonight, but we're gonna have to set something, to when folks come to work here, they know what to expect, that it's not gonna change every year back and forth. There and again, the longevity or whatever, if we have an employee that's been here 3 or 4 months, should they get the same thing as James that's been here 18, 19 years? That'd be a slap in the face to a man that's worked here 19 years. He's getting the same employee, Christmas bonus as somebody's been here 3 months. That don't seem fair to me. I go with things, and that falls back to us as a board, to figure out what's the right thing to do, have it in place and set that policy, that we don't have this same discussion every year.
So,
What, what I've been thinking, and I think it's been discussed before, nothing done, but longevity once a year on your anniversary date.
okay,
And cut out
And
Christmas
performance,
bonuses.
based on,
But Christmas bonus is not performance bonus.
No,
So you're saying a longevity
Mhm.
on your, so,
and cut out bonuses altogether, so they expect on, like, my date is in March, I get my longevity. So, that's.
so
what I
not,
would
not
propose.
performance, but longevity, okay. So we
If you
can,
wasn't performing right, you wouldn't still be there to get the longevity.
ideally, yes.
yeah, I don't know that. Let's put light on that.
So, we'll draft something for you next month to approve, and
So
then that'll
one year,
just
we're
be
not doing Christmas bonuses this year, and we're gonna give a longevity bonus next year. Is that what I'm hearing?
every year.
That's something we need to discuss during budget time and set it up, the amount and stuff, wouldn't we?
Yeah, and I don't know what it's thinking.
Well, I'll research it.
Do we have the extra money this year?
It was not included in the budget.
But you're under budget in a couple line items for
Yes,
payroll.
yeah, we are under budget.
You're under budget, so there is money there, yes.
Yes. there-
And I would like to say openly, I would be very disappointed in this board if we, at this juncture, on December the 6th, decide we're not gonna do a Christmas bonus. So, I get changing gears and whatever else, but I don't think, at this juncture is when you're supposed to do that.
Well, if we did that, we'd have to do a budget amendment to bring money in.
I just said that we're under budget.
Well, I understand that. We're under budget. It's not part of the budget, so we're gonna make it part of the budget. Is that correct?
No, the budget's there, it's just, it'd be,
I'm just, is that correct, Bill?
Well, I mean, if you're under budget, if you've got the money, then you don't have to do the budget, right?
Well, no, it wouldn't be, I guess what you're speaking to is there's no budget line item for, so you'd be correct, we'd have to do a budget amendment. Yeah, we have the funds available, we would have to do a budget amendment, which is, you just decide how much and we'll make it happen. We'll come back to you with a budget amendment, but that won't stop the
Let's
process.
let's go ahead and get these other folks up through here, because I know some of them will speak. I'm gonna make a motion if we move the employee bonuses down on the agenda, so we can get through this other business first, then we'll have time to discuss. Does that sound fair?
table it to the end, is that okay with y'all? Table employee business bonus to the end, let's move on to it.
I make a motion that we approve the November minutes.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
I'm doing, I've not read the minutes, I'm going on Jamie's telling me. I've not-
They're right.
Jamie said, you read these minutes, you got to do it.
Yeah, she emails them out.
Well, I don't do emails, I ask for stuff to be put in my basket in there, and well, I've not had any emails. I check the mail every day, every other. I know the mayor kind of time didn't think you ought to do that, I do a little maybe quarter page, but I'd like to do whatever it takes, but,
We'll
it's
put
my
it,
choice whether I, it's my choice whether I do emails or not. I'm not gonna do emails. I've got more to do than sit pumped up over a phone or a computer waiting on mail, I'll come get my mail.
Kenny coming in hot tonight, everybody stand by. All right, moving forward,
Public comment.
public comments. Any public comments?
So anybody speak at once.
Mr. Costner, you wanna come on up?
If y'all have time.
Yes,
Sure
please come
can.
up.
Sure can. This is supposed to be the time of the night that y'all can just sit back and relax. This is not a bashing, this is information. So, thank you all, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming to the fire department last month for one of our board meetings. We welcome any and all of you all at any time. We look forward to working with you. But with this being said, I listened to the audio that you sent me, which is public record. And I felt like at this point in time that Newland Fire Department, let me back up, everybody pretty well knows me, I don't know if you know. I am William Costner, I am chairman / president of Newland Volunteer Fire Department. So we listened to the recording, and I felt like this should be more informational than anything else. Newland Fire Department will never bash or comment negatively if you give us $1 or if you give us $7,500. Newland Fire Department will survive whether we have any money or not, because the citizens of Baker County. We do get taxpayer money, thanks to the county of Baker County. They are gracious, they do fire tax, and we do get fire tax money. Is it enough to do what is required? No. With that being said, let me back up here and say this. Any fire department, but we don't look at any fire department, we worry about the Newland Fire Department. The county commissioners, the fire commission, fire marshal, or anybody in the county does not tell or dictate to Newland Fire Department what we will do. The state of North Carolina tells us what we will do, what the fire department will do. No questions asked. You either do what they do, or you suffer the consequences. Information here, and I stand to be corrected if anybody can tell me. I would love to hear it. No other business, and I consider Newland Fire Department as a business. It's not a Little League baseball. It's not a social field. It is a business. No other business in the city, the town of Newland, has saved the taxpayers of Newland money. And with that being said, we have to do a state fire inspection. It's called an insurance rating. Ever so often, the state tells us when they will do it. Very proud, never thought we would be there. The town of Newland is under a 5. Never thought we would be under a 7. The gentleman at the fire department has worked very hard. Volunteers, I should say. They don't get a dime for what they do, but they've got the insurance rating down to 5. So I would ask, and I'll get to it. I would ask, and I'm open. Are there any other business in the town of Newland that saves the city taxpayers money?
Nope.
I'm asking.
No, there's not.
I'm one big educator, but Newland Fire Department did. I challenge each and every one of you all, next time you're paying your premiums on the insurance, ask your insurance agent what your insurance would be if your insurance rating was from a 5 to 9. Just ask them.
Y'all have a paid guy, right?
We have a paid member,
Who pays him?
the county. He's a county employee.
And as part of his job, is he charged with helping get that rating down?
Yes, you get points by having a paid personnel.
Yeah, okay.
That is just a very.
But part of his job is also get the equipment ready for the inspection and so on.
Well, his job is to make sure that each and every truck is ready to roll to your
And
house.
equipped, yes,
To your house.
yes.
It is the responsibility of the fire department. You can't put, we'll go back to this, is it your responsibility to make sure everything here in the town is perfect? Is it your responsibility to make sure this contract, it's everybody's?
Yeah.
So it takes every one of those volunteers to bring forth. They work numerous hours to
Sure.
do it. It comes from your guys in, doing the hydrant test to make sure the hydrants, because if your hydrants aren't working properly, it will take points.
Right.
But
One more question,
Sure.
Tony, no, it's good. Who does the paid fireman answer to?
the chief of the fire department,
So he's not any way under the county government at all.
He is paid by the county. When he is hired, he is set in an interview with the chief of the fire department and the fire commission coordinator. He
And that is Mr. Stansberry, right?
Pardon?
Is Mr. Stansberry not
Paid person?
the president?
Oh, no, that's the fire association.
Okay,
That's
because there's
totally-
two of them, yeah, there's
Totally,
two.
no, fire associations, each department in the county is a
Yeah.
volunteer thing that's been
Okay.
going on for numerous years.
And then the commission.
You have the fire commission, but the fire commission is, understand, years ago, the county commissioners decided they wanted to have a fire commission. They didn't want 9 departments coming in, sitting with y'all during budget time, trying to do a budget. So they've done, they had
Yeah.
one group to come in to do the fire commission, so.
So are you asking us for something, Mr.?
No, sir. No,
I
I'm
think- I think
I'm
it-
doing more information.
Yeah, what happened was Bill and I went and met with, Mr. Costner at the board and the fire department, Chief Benfield, in reference to, and everything that was going on, there was a lot of haranguing, back and forth between the town and the fire department, and me and the chief, about whether or not the fire department, because of this whole, whether we were doing 20,000, 5,000, 7,500. So Bill and I thought it necessary to sit down with them and kind of get this thing, the air cleared. I will say after the meeting with Bill, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn for the board, no, I'm for myself, we full-throated support the fire department. I think where we came off the tracks is, and we discussed this, Mr. Costner, if you'll recall, at your meeting, and we also gave you the, as you said, the recording, which we've all listened to. And I went one step further because everybody, going by what Chief Benfield kept saying, which, again, our meeting with Chief Benfield came off the tracks really quick. And during that meeting with Chief Benfield, he made it very, very clear that the board was misleading him that we had in fact voted. And then it was also said that it was in the paper. And I think that it was alluded to by, I believe, Mr. Benfield, not Cole Benfield, but the different Mr. Benfield, that it was in fact in the paper, and Bill said, well, that's not public record. I have since gone and gotten all 3 articles that deal with it at all, and at no point does the paper ever say, as a matter of fact, the paper on October 12th made it very clear that Mr. Benfield was asking for $20,000. The town agreed to send the budget, and it was later lowered from $20,000 to $7,500. And the other night when we were discussing, I think you'll recall this exchange, Mr. Benfield, Chief Benfield, told us that he knew because Ms. Christie Hughes had voted to give the $20,000 in support of that. I knew that was a farce because I know the relationship between those two, and I think we discussed that in your meeting. So what I'm trying to drive at is I'm still a little bit fuzzed up over that meeting and how it went, and the fire department, who that was the representative, the chief was the representative.
Sure.
I'm still pretty upset about him coming in accusing our board of lying about anything. And at every opportunity that we had, we tried to say, no, that's not how it went, that's not how it was called. There was a lot of work that went into getting all this information together, getting Bill and Jennifer to get anybody. I've listened to it, and I can't hear very well, but everybody says to me it was never said, and everything that we have said all the way through. And the irony of it was until this happened, the town, I don't think would have had a problem with adding money to the Newland Fire Department, because again, full-throated, the town and I support the fire department. I know, trust me, I deal with insurance daily, and I'm fascinated that you guys are at a 5. It's not a shot at that, it's just the fact that this is a very small department in a very small town, and that is spectacular.
Very appreciated.
Yeah, so I guess the problem that I have is, and I would like to let you know, because I told you, I promised you I'd follow this up, and I have, and at no point did this board openly outside the budget meeting vote for the $20,000 that Chief Benfield stood in here and assured us, once we read the minutes, once we looked at the minutes, and at no point, even in the budget meeting, it went down to $7,500. So I just want to get that, straightened back up, and so that all of us understand. And I hope after this meeting, I appreciate it, you did promise to come to this meeting, we appreciate it. I hope after this meeting, that we can get back to the, hey, there's the fire department, you know, let's pull in and say, hey, or, I gotta pee real bad, let me use the bathroom at the fire department, you know?
Well, I will say this,
Yeah,
it's water under the bridge.
yeah, okay.
I will challenge each and every one of you all. I deal with municipalities every single day.
Yeah.
I deal with them.
Yeah.
I challenge you all when it comes budget time. As y'all were saying, we're sitting here trying to figure, okay, Christmas months. Oh, wait a minute. Christy says, you know, we need this. What can we do to help Newland Fire Department? We're not a joke.
No, nobody.
We are a business. We would hope the town of Newland would say, what can we do to help and support
Yeah,
Newland to keep that rating that our taxpayers is paying?
100%.
Yes, sir.
One question for you.
Yes, sir.
I feel responsible here as a board member, we're using public money,
Yes, sir.
everybody.
You better be accountable for every dime.
Yeah, that's it.
I am too.
When we come back to this, my only question, and I couldn't get answered in our budget meeting, or whatever it is. You and I have been on the fire department together for many years past.
Many years.
As being responsible for my neighbor's money and people here in the town,
We're accountable to you.
before anything, whether it's $5,000, $7,500, or whatever else, I need to know when Mr. Citizen walks up,
Sure.
what does Newland Fire Department do with that money? What account does it go into? I've heard several stories about a lot of
Well-
previous chiefs and stuff in the facts, that's water under the bridge. I need to be accounted, if we're spending public money to the fire department, is it going to buy extra fuel because the diesel prices have went up? Are we buying some hoses that burst on a big house, fire? Where's our money being spent on?
And we will.
And
We
you
will.
know, the amount that we give as a board here, when we look at it and do it in a reasonable manner, sitting down and talking with people at budget time and stuff, I'm all for it. As long as 6 months down the road, we say, okay, we give you $15,000, how was that money spent?
Well, one thing I would ask you to go, and we will be accountable, the mayor will have on the 7,500. He will see every penny of that $7,500. I can go back. I will promise you, being president and chairman of the board, just like every one of y'all are board of directors, y'all better be accountable for every dime in this town.
Right.
I will, and he will see what that money's spent. Cost of living, it may not be $7,500, I don't know what the price. It may be 2 turnout gears, but you will see, you will have it, and he will have it presented. But I would encourage you to not think in the form we're giving, that we're giving you money from here on out. I would encourage you to sit and say, we're sitting as a board to be able to, how are we gonna support Newland Volunteer Fire Department to keep the rating? Whether it's $1, $7,500, $20,000, $25,000, and it comes back to the fire department. And I apologize for sending Kobe up here, the chief. I was out of town. Never should the chief come. It should have been the board that come and present. It should be, if we asked him for $2, we should have a plan of what that $2,000 or $2 going for.
I'll ask you, William, you know, we've had it said, we've had a contract with the town, we've had a contract. Do we have a written contract?
We don't, but we've talked about it, we're
Well, I know,
drafting.
that's what we were told here, oh, we've got a contract.
I haven't signed one since the two previous
Two
chiefs.
previous, yeah.
That's what I'd like to say. I'll go along with the thing. It's not on paper, it never happened. I want to see paperwork. If we have a contract, I want to know who signed it, did the board approve it? If we don't have, then we're open to discussion. Now's the time to maybe get a contract.
So
Let's
be
sit
it.
with that board, and let's make a discussion, let's be fair to, let's be supportive of the people here. But you say, Newland Fire Department, it's a business.
It is.
Town of Newland's a business.
Yeah.
Let's have professional on both sides, listen to everybody, and
But also,
when
let's,
we come to it,
And
let's
if you
have,
got a problem or an issue, don't go to whomever, go to the source.
and I'm glad that's, yes, because I had a big problem with it being thrown up in the town's face. Well, we hauled 1,400 gallons up, when we had a busted water pipe. I didn't know that was even, yeah. And I think at that juncture, I think that emotion has gotten to the point where, and I hate that it got to that point, but I don't wanna ever be threatened, if you will, by the fire department. We don't have to, which I know you, Mr. Cochran, I know where we're at. It's water under the bridge, but I just really want folks to hear and understand that, at no time did anything Mr. Benfield, Chief Benfield purported was correct about my board. My board didn't do anything that he had spoke about in this board meeting, or at your meeting, so. But moving forward, it's water on the bridge. I just wanna get the gutters clean, if that's something we can maybe work out at some point.
That, and that keeps coming up and all that.
Yeah,
We've always done it.
yeah,
Great training,
yeah,
great training for young men.
yeah.
Now, will all of them get washed Monday night?
No, I don't, yeah, that's not.
Will it all
Yeah.
get washed? They've done it we've done it for years.
Yeah,
We do not, I'm sorry, I say we, they do not give a time frame.
yeah,
I'm retired. I'm chairman of the board,
yeah,
but they will. But like I say, it's water under the bridge.
okay. No,
And don't want
absolutely.
nobody, because understand, like I said, and I go back, and it's very important that you understand, whether the town of Newland gives us a penny,
Still
we are
moving.
bound by the state of North Carolina, not the Avery County Commissioners, not the Avery Fire Commission, not the Fire Marshal, but the state of North Carolina tells us what we will do, or else.
Yeah.
And understand,
Yeah.
if there's no fire department in Newland, there's no jailhouse.
Yeah.
There's no businesses,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because you
yeah.
can't have a business without a fire department. Yeah.
It was refreshing to see your board and see the gentlemen that are
We
sitting on the
have,
board.
we have a very good board.
Yeah, top
These
notch board.
guys know, we've worked very hard, and our fire department, our chief down, they have to report to
Yes.
us, and we keep.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Because I think we all got this, and like I said, water under the bridge. When the part of the gutters y'all cleaned out, did the businesses complain?
You say culverts,
Yes.
okay, culverts. Did what now?
Did the businesses complain to y'all?
If I ever have, we've never heard it.
Here's where he's coming from, and I know where he's going, and it came up in our meeting with you. Mr. Chief Benfield came in here and purported that all the business, the reason he stopped cleaning the culverts or the gutters, whatever we're gonna call them, was because the business had complained. Myself and Mr. Johnson went and spoke with several of the businesses along the route, and as a matter of fact, one of them was taken aback and said, why would I complain about the town trying to clean the gutters? I think he's just trying to clarify that at no point, as a matter of fact, the businesses were appreciative that the Newland Volunteer Fire Department was out cleaning the gutters as training, as Mr. Gitner's back there bouncing his head. So I think that was another instance Chief Benfield had said something, and we followed up and we couldn't find anybody that was complaining.
If when the leaves fall, it happens every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
We wash out a few, they wash out some,
I get it.
and then you get a heavy rain come.
And
guess
here it is
what?
again.
No, they take them on down the gutter,
Yeah.
and drain hops and go. So it's not, you always gonna have some.
Yeah.
William, if I'm correct, in the past, in the last 30 years, and we'll move on to something else. We've done this stuff, and I say we, I'm talking 35 years ago, when the fire department was there. We'll do this as part of training.
Yes, sir.
We cleaned it out. Then it come this time of year, we didn't do it in the wintertime, we went ahead and let all the sand and the salt and everything else that the state's gonna be putting down, put it in there, and then when it won't, we washed them out again. Right now, if the fire department goes down there and washes out the rest of the thing, 2 snows down the road's gonna be full again.
I mean, it's nature.
That's
It's
just
nature.
it. So maybe that's why the washing out of the storm drains stopped for right now, I don't know.
But it changed from, you have numerous, we can stand it, but you have tree season, you have people doing other jobs. You have some people, it's getting close to the end of the year, the state requires 36 hours training for a regular firefighter Newland requires 45 hours for the officers to have, so if they've drug their feet, numerous different things, and people gets tired of things.
Because they are volunteers.
It's all volunteer. They don't get a red, I'm gonna tell you what, Kenny knows what I'm getting ready to say. It's the dirtiest, the coldest, the wettest, the unthankfulest job you've ever had in your life. And you've heard it many times. Now, Will, and I'll let y'all move on. One of the comments on the recording was that, understand, we don't charge Newland for water or sewer at any given time. We do not want nothing free. If that's a problem, at any given time, bill us,
No,
bill us.
no.
We don't want nothing free.
Yeah, that's not where we're at, that's not.
So, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, yeah.
please understand, we don't want nothing free. We try to do and serve the town in our district. We're not only, we're centrally located, so we pretty well go out to every department in this county.
I don't think that conversation would have been had if you would have come before the board and asked for the money, quite frankly.
Sure.
It kind of got into a,
I
let's see.
know, I know, but I want you, like I said, I listen, it's clear, and one other last conversation was, it's that one comment was made that, their spouse said, we pay fire tax. You do. You do. But this is above and beyond.
Yeah.
Where do you want the town, where do you want the town of Newland to be? Do you want it as good or better than Banner Elk? Do you want it better than Cross?
Are we better than Banner Elk? What is Banner Elk?
I think you are. Oh, rating?
I think they're a 6.
I think we, right now, I think us and Linville has the lowest rating.
You do. If you're at a 5, Banner Elk's at a 6, so.
So I'm very proud of our guys at Fire. The town and the board and the citizens should be very proud.
Almost in the mayor and Banner Elk, but nah.
But just remember, you always want to be better than every other town.
That's right. Thank you, Mr.
Any
Costa.
questions?
Nope.
Y'all
Thank you, sir.
guys feel free to contact me.
Thank you, Mr. Costa.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay. Any more public comments?
Mr. Gittner, go ahead. You've got 2.2 minutes.
I see the time, I'll keep it short. First of all, not for tonight, but Mr. Mayor, can we get on the agenda for maybe for January? There's a lot of noise coming through here, the air brakes, and I know there were signs and they were taken out. I see the time, we're in our slow time. Could we get that on the agenda for?
Call Jennifer, but-
Could we get that on the agenda for January to kind of talk a little bit about that? Second, the next two are very quick, they were added, take them for what you're paying for them. So, of the previous year's audit, you're gonna get dinged for paying down $46,000 more on the water and sewer debt than was in the budget. God bless you, thank you, great, you weren't there, thank you, and you get dinged on it for a budget, unbelievable.
It's government.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, not you weren't there. Bonuses. You control, so I do a lot of work in this. You control it. Use that money wisely to get the behavior you want. Everybody needs to win. Now, I do this a lot on the business side. When I tell people, when I'm working with boards of directors and all that, bonuses, everybody's gotta win. Employees have to win, shareholders have to win, customers have to win. But you control it. Use those bonuses to drive the behavior and the results that you want. It's all, you have tremendous power. And to influence the community. If you go out there and you look at high-performing companies, high-performing organizations, statistically, they all pay their people about the same, salary-wise. High-performing organizations, in general, will earn 75 to 100% more than their peer group in their line of business. They pay their people, depending on 25 to 35% more. It's all incentive, it's all risk-based. You have tremendous power to drive results for you. Win, people in Newland win, visitors of Newland win. I said I would keep it short. If you'd like, I'd be delighted to come and talk a lot more. There's a lot of moving parts in there. I'd be delighted to come, spend a few minutes with you guys, talking with you about it on some session. But you do have a lot of power.
Yeah, I'd like to hear how you translate private over to government. That would be fascinating.
We've got a couple of examples. We will do that. You guys let me know a time that's good for you guys. Be delighted to do that. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nate. All right, let's move to reports. Do you have anything? Do you have
Better not tonight.
January 3rd?
I'll be in DC.
Cancel your trip to DC. Be
Oh,
in.
If you have something that, go ahead.
No, not tonight. It's dragging on too long with me.
It's fine.
Okay, moving on, anybody else? Okay, moving on to finance officer report.
Okay, so I kinda have quite a bit, but I'll try to make it kinda quick.
I don't think it's necessary that she reads those numbers, because everybody can
Yeah,
read
y'all
them.
want me to go over it? I mean, the only thing I will go over is the general fund. It's still a little wonky because we still have our old account open. Believe it or not, it's an act of Congress to get all of your banking accounts switched over, because I'm not an official employee still. Like Sandy's name, Lisa's name, all these employees that have been gone for years are still on it. But, and we moved the American Rescue Plans on it, so that's why it looks a little weird. So hopefully it's all gonna be straightened out by next month. But anyways, that is all of your funds. The drug fund, we're still working to get that back onto our account. It's there, no payment. Though when our account got hacked, she forgot to do the paperwork because all of our signatures were so old that she forgot to put that on there. So I had to get my whole and Chief's and my signatures back on there. The money's there, the account's there, she just hasn't gotten it added back on there. So that is all the funds there. The other thing you have in front of you, I printed off a couple copies for you to look at. I know back in August, we did a special budget for the ARP funds, and Sandy had it to where the first page is the older page where we did a salaries of $68,000 and a benefits of $22,000 to equal out that total amount. However, Corey from the High Country Government, he said that I technically have to do a budget amendment because I need to put more money in the salaries and less money in the benefits. It doesn't change the amount, everything's the same, I just have to divvy out the amounts. So he technically said I have to do a budget amendment, that copy's in front of you to see, and we just have to pass it. So,
I'll make a motion that we do the, budget amendment for finance on the ARP fund for the finance officer. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor, you.
I'll second that motion.
You didn't take over the meeting.
There you go. Right. Is he coming back?
Yeah.
Well, give him a minute to get back, he might have to use the restroom or something.
but yeah, it's super simple, like the money doesn't change at all. We didn't have enough money in the benefits area to supplement that total that she put in that area. So I had to put more money in the salaries and less in the benefits, so.
In the mayor's absence then, for however long that would be, we have a motion on the floor, we have a second.
That's it. All those in favor?
All in favor, please?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Beautiful, thank you guys. I guess the biggest thing, the best part was kind of what Cindy had, I'll talk about that a little bit more. So even before I was here, we were on the, unit assistance list, which is pretty much the naughty list, I'm just gonna say that. And if we stay on that list for so long, it pretty much gives the state permission to come in here and take over if you are in finance trouble. So we got the letter today, pretty much saying that I'm very pleased to notify that you, Newland, is no longer on that list. So we are no longer on the naughty list.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Okay, administrative report.
Okay. Covered a bunch of stuff, so, and we did that, pickup, so I wanted to bring that up. Is that something that we're interested in pursuing? I'll have to get you some cost numbers, but I don't wanna do that. I'll have to do it soon, because we'll be in budget cycle soon.
I would love for you to do that.
Okay, so is that a consensus? You don't need a motion. If that's consensus, I'll pursue that. Okay. We had some discussion about Public Works and their hours. So they come in an hour ahead of us and leave an hour ahead of us, the rest of us staff. So there was a question brought up about that, is that, kosher? We actually get a lot of work done in that time period where there's not a lot of traffic on the road. Or they get out and do water, they have to go test wells every day, and so there's, that's kind of the logic behind it, but it's a long-standing tradition. And, Gary can speak to it as to why they do it that way. So, I don't care one way or the other, I get the work done out of them, they're just not here, 4:30, 3:30 to 4:30. But Gary's been pretty good about putting together a work list so that they start right away. When I came in this morning, they were already working, getting stuff.
Don't you think that maybe two of them could come in at 7?
That's entirely up to you, because basically it's a policy decision. But I'd like to at least keep 2 early.
Yeah.
Isn't that your job to supervise, more or less? You're the spokesman person. If something's going wrong, then you would come to the board and address it.
Yes,
Anything going wrong?
not that I know of.
Continue on, thank you, sir.
I think what Mr. Johnson's alluding to, Bill, is because we see a lot more than most
Yes,
with all of our extra time, because we don't have anything to do right now. I think what he's saying is a good example is if the guys go home at 3:30, then you've got the town hall ladies trying to close up. Let's just say, for instance, we lost apparently $900 worth of bushes this year because they were trying to take them down and water them. That'd be a perfect time for the lake guys to water the bushes.
okay,
Or, or help the ladies close down the town hall. Or, hey, do we have anybody still here that can go pick up the air conditioner that sat for 6 days right across from the Mexican restaurant in Town Square? So, I see the positives and negatives, and I absolutely agree with the fine Mayor Pro Tem that, I know. But I agree with what Mr. Johnson's saying. I think that I think it'd be behooves of us to have at least one guy here while the town hall is open.
okay,
In the event something happens, or even to be here to help get the town hall closed down.
all right.
That's just my recommendation. Does anybody else have any discussion?
It's a very simple process to do a little drip irrigation. I would never think that anyone should ever haul water out there in the spring ever again. This woman can attest to that. We need to just install a little bit of irrigation if we're gonna continue
We've
to have
got a
simple hanging
faucet out there,
baskets.
but I can't figure out, I don't think we have a key
Tiny
for it,
PEX pipe,
so.
something,
yeah.
there's no reason for y'all to have to do that. I helped one time, it wasn't no fun. I watered a greenhouse for, 4 months in a row. It's not fun, not every day.
Okay, we can work on that.
Just a suggestion, for later, don't have to do it now.
Okay, so I will work on that, and we'll make sure we have coverage during town hall hours.
Do we need to vote on that? We don't need to vote on it.
No, that's just directed, that's fine. The Newland Fire Department, you heard the spiel, went there, it was a very good meeting. It was nice to be able to go there and talk to them, and, get a feel for how it works, a little bit different than local government, and I'm used to dealing with actual fire departments that are part of the town structure, so learning how a volunteer fire department works was pretty cool, so I appreciated that.
There's a lot of information going back and forth with the county and
Yeah.
these guys.
Oh, yeah, the fire structure here is like, whoa, because, the fire structure here I'm used to is Boone. Some of the other towns I've worked with, we've had the fire department. So we don't have some of the involvements that the volunteers had. And these guys, they say they have day jobs and they have to respond immediately to something and they're rushing to get somewhere. And it's like, it was kind of cool to see how they function. And they were very cordial, so I appreciated the meeting, and I hope to go to other meetings with them. So, but I think we're on the way. I think we've mended our relationship, and, it'll be fruitful, and we'll have very good discussions from this point on, so. See, I'm gonna bring that up. So, the other thing I'd like to bring up is, went to the Capitol Christmas tree thing, so represented the town, that was really cool. I mean, that was like, wow, see all those people there that are, you know, that were supporting and stuff, have not seen that facility over there, for the county. It was really, really a nice facility, so, wanted to, you know, just like, no moisture at all. So, don't know if any of you saw this, but the restrooms, because you have passed the budget line, the restrooms are remodeled. The only thing we're lacking in the restrooms over here are some exhaust fans. We had one, there was a defect, so they are getting another one, but that should be in this week, and they'll be completely done. We found quite a bit of damage, between the staff's restroom and that little closet over there. Been long-term leak in there. We did a little bit of damage to a water pipe and getting everything done. We found we didn't have any water cutoffs locally, so we put those in. Still came in at the budget, so we're really good. They look really good. If you haven't seen them, please go look at them and just check them out. New lighting, LED lighting. And like I said, you'll see a hole in the ceiling with a flex tube sticking out. That'll be an exhaust fan. That'll be installed, so it's one of the things we really need.
They are ADA compliant, man.
The public one is ADA compliant.
Thank you.
So it was sort of ADA compliant. It was probably 80% ADA compliant.
Are they gonna put the safety sleeves on the sinks?
Yes. So, final thing, I wanted to bring this up because it's been an issue. Gary's gonna show you some photos, but dumpster out at the park, back here where the playground is. We have a dumpster out there mainly because the church uses that park a lot, for kids, for events, that sort of thing. So we have a dumpster out there so they can throw their trash in it. The RV park has just been inundating that dumpster. The Puerto Nuevo has a dumpster behind ours, and they fill theirs up, they don't dump it often enough. So they've been using our dumpster, and then stuff still ends up on the ground. It's been a constant problem for us for the past month.
And Mr. Nelson called me last week and told me he's gonna pick up all the trash and bring it to my house and dump it on my front lawn. I then told him I'd come help him pick up all the trash around the dumpster, we'd bring it to the town hall and have it dump it out front. So obviously, this is a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem, and so he's part of the problem.
Yes,
So,
100%.
If I can say this, when this was brought up, I know for a fact, the trash blowing out onto the RV park was being picked up by RV park employees. He has his own dumpster there
yes,
for the people in the RV park to use. If they choose to take it outside, what more could he do? He's put one right there behind his building.
well,
It's empty twice a week. It's his, but.
The irony of it was beer, so what happened was he had a whole crew, all those pipeliners you saw at the, hospital, moved out. And on the day they moved out, they decided to clean out their Trek campers. When they cleaned out their campers, yes, they overfilled, and there was beer cans and Budweiser boxes, and it was wholeheartedly, and so you understand, Mike's dumpster is in the back part of his, campground. These guys' campers are right here beside of it, they brought it right over and they dumped it, and I think that's why Mike and I came to the agreement, I'd have them pick it up and bring it to the town hall and dump it out, because it was both campers and town trash. So I understand where you're going and what you're alluding to, however, the campers are using those dumpsters. I think that you and I have discussed this so many times, it's becoming redundant. I think that I'd like to talk to the board about moving our dumpster to a different location in the town, and then putting small receptacles out there for the park, which is what it should be, to alleviate this.
so
I agree
that's,
with that point, because I spend a lot of time loafing at the coffee shop, reading the paper, drinking coffee. It's unreal that the traffic, the local residents going down White Street end up in the garbage down there, and I think, you know, that's the only place they have to take it so far, I reckon. I mean, there's other, I haul my trash down on the freeway. But,
Convenience
neither there,
store, just
there's a
down the road.
lot of traffic going down White Street from local residences, because that's the closest place to their house, and that's where they're gonna take it. I think it's a good idea to move that thing, still provide it for the residents of the town, but let's try to find some place to put it that's gonna work for everybody, like you say, a smaller thing for the park or whatever. Now, I don't know what to do about the business that has one down there, the Mexican restaurant.
They're not gonna move it. It's, first of all, they're not supposed to put that amount of food in there because there's a rat issue. So we're gonna go see them about, we gotta help them find another location. So I think those two dumpsters need to be pulled out of there, and I think we put small receptacles in the campground that, you know, that we can manage a lot easier. And I guess the next question, because of what he just said, see, I didn't think the town residents were allowed to dump trash.
They're sure they're not.
Well, there's a sign on that.
Sign says on
It says for town view and use only, it's supposed to be there for the park and the kids having parties, and the river walk. There's a sign on the dumpster there
True,
that says view, use only for the,
yes.
I take it that's for the park.
And
But sit over there and watch how many people.
Oh, yeah.
6, 8 bags of trash on there, it don't take much to fill up that dumpster.
Right, so he's right, we've got, some of the stuff we have pictures of, are a young lady who lives just right down the street, and just throws her stuff on the ground. So, you know, what I'm saying is that dumpster is a constant problem. We either have to dump it every day,
I'm going to now.
or we have to come up with a better solution.
I'll just ask the campground.
Have you got any recommendations to where we?
Well, I would just get rid of the dumpster and put trash cans there. They're out there every day, checking the restroom so they can pull the bags out, put new bags in and move on. And they won't tend to fill up as much. Porta Nueva is a different issue, but first I wanna get permission to do this. I'm a very simple thinker, so just one thing at a time is better for me.
Well, I had a discussion with Portland, whatever it is, down there at the Mexican restaurant, back in summer, when they had their dumpster doing construction, parked down there on the corner. It was overfull, flowing all the time, out the street, food products in it wasn't supposed to be there. So I go down there and they're getting ready to move it, that's great. But the fellow said, oh, we're gonna put another one right back in here, and I said, you don't need to do that. I picked up 2 sixes with nails in them laying on the sidewalk where a kid could step on, and they were just throwing out there and it's full of stuff. So this fellow tells me he's gonna put the dumpster there anyway. I told him I didn't think so. I pulled my pickup up there and I parked there, and he said, you're gonna move that pickup or I'll move you. I said, well, bring it on. You know, I'm an old man. He started to reach the door, he said, I'll move that. I said, partner, I wasn't reaching that door. I think I discussed that with the police department here. We had to get a police department to get up there and move it. The stink, it had been there for months. They told me that as a business owner, they had that restaurant here in town and another restaurants and several other places around. They could do whatever they wanted to in the town of Newton. And I told him, it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, he can say that, but
Well, looking down the line here,
can I move the dumpster that we own out of that area and replace it with trash cans?
Yes.
Okay,
That's where we're gonna put it.
it's gone. We don't need it. We've got this one here.
That's what I was driving at. Why do we have that dumpster? Let's just get rid of it. We're not supposed to be providing it to the town. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Let's just get rid of it.
So that brings up the question then of the other dumpster.
We're gonna
It's
go see
not-
Puerto and tell them that they've got to move it.
I would
Okay.
see that's the town's problem, that a business needs to find a dumpster. That would be up to the business.
It's the town's problem because it's sitting out in the middle, behind the town campground, in between the town campground, in a random, probably where it shouldn't be, area.
But we told them that they could put it there. Now you can't put it there, find your dump spot, the end. I mean, that's unfortunately the way it is. I mean, if you're finding a dump site for them, then we're going to find one for Shake Law, we're going to find one for
Is there a benefit for us to find a centralized spot for the businesses to utilize dumpsters in the town?
If we look at this trash pickup, I think that'll solve 95% of the problem.
It won't solve it for them.
Does Republic have a contract where your residents pay X amount a month on their water bill? I think there's tons of
Well,
talk about this before.
The
And then
way we're,
businesses-
yeah, the way we're set up, and we'll talk about this at budget time, because this contract comes to an end at the end of June, is we have a contract exclusive with Republic, so they provide the dumpsters, they will provide, anybody who wants trash, they provide it, it's exclusive. And so they bill directly, so we don't have to deal with them on that. If we go to doing it, it's no big deal, we'll handle it, we'll take care of it, and we'll be able to schedule a little bit better and manage it better, but we don't have.
So you're
that at
telling me
this
the
point.
town of Newland signed an exclusive deal with Republic that tells me as a living on Water Creek, the only trash pickup I can use is Republic?
Yes,
When did that start being legal?
that was 3 years ago.
Well, then I'm gonna find somebody else and,
Yeah, somebody brought to me, there was a young kid who was trying to expand his business to do trash pickup, and he was insulted by the Republic people, and so that got back to me, and it made me look at the contract, sure enough, we have an exclusive contract. But it is up this year. I am meeting with them tomorrow at 11 o'clock, if anybody's interested. Just because I'm curious to see, well, who I'm dealing with. And of course, they want to meet because they know we're going to get into budget cycle here soon. So
Teresa, are you okay with only being given one option for somebody to pick up your trash? Thank you.
So, well, if we do it, I mean, it's pretty much gonna be the same. We're gonna tell everybody, we're gonna tax them, so.
When you
it's
say if we do it, you mean we're gonna, as a town, potentially start doing the trash?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's a discussion we need to have.
Wow. I know some of
I'm-
y'all heard my story, but when they quit that, when I was a little girl, you know, they quit, they cut it out. They used to, Charlie Banner used to come to my church, said, it did my corner of my yard, and Charlie Banner got it.
Yeah.
And I told my grandma I should buy a dump truck, and it was a travesty. We need to buy a dump truck, Grandma, we gotta pick up everybody's trash. What are we gonna do? I was like 7 or 8 years old. So I'm all for this, I've been waiting for this one.
Well, I'm gonna throw some numbers together and we'll talk about it next month because we need to get that into our heads for budget time to see how we're gonna pay for it.
At the very lowest cost possible.
Yes, yes, it's gonna take a little bit of creativity, but we're gonna see if we can't do it. I'm gonna talk to some other small towns that are doing it, so, we'll see how it's done. So anyway, I don't know if you guys are interested in looking at a centralized location, or if you wanna, I know you wanna go and at least talk about us doing it, but somehow we gotta deal with the other dumpster over there, because people are also dumping into their dumpster. When ours gets full, they dump into theirs.
Does this town have some sort of, what's that called? What do y'all call it? Those rules y'all throw on
Ordinance?
people? Ordinance, thank you.
Yeah, we have lots of ordinances.
Do we not have an ordinance that says you have, like most towns have it, you know, when do we allow just dumpsters to be randomly dropped off in places?
I'm looking through our ordinance, I don't see a particular dumpster. We've got nuisance ordinances for trash, but as far as, you have to have a receptacle, you can't just have it laying in the yard. But when you start talking about businesses, it's unclear in the ordinance, so I'm hoping we have a different section that talks about it,
Okay. All right.
so. Short of that, that's all I have.
You know, you might talk to the county because they just use this old agriculture building for storage.
Yeah,
And then you could go behind that and put a dumpster for wherever. I think that would be a positive thing. It wouldn't, it'd be out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, that's clock ain't right.
any other questions?
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Please, Lord.
Police.
I believe y'all found your police report on the phone. I believe pretty quick with it. Just want to point out, last load struck again. Actually got about 2 grams of meth this past month. And the other point I'm gonna bring up is, I'm working on making sure that all the officers have got their mandated training done. This was done by the end of the year, and everything's looking pretty good at the moment. It's a busy night.
Thank you for your help Saturday. Yes. Great job, and Gary, and making stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Gary?
As Bill said, I got a bunch of pictures, but y'all can look at them at your leisure. Each one of you have a day by day, that's what we've done. On the back, at the bottom of the third page, the November summary has some of the information I think some of you wanted with the cam strut, the meters. Kind of what we have going on with the meters, there's a big long section there with that. And prices for replacing and the number. You got the size, the 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, and then the number that I've estimated that we need. I still have to confirm that yet. And then the price for each size.
Can I ask a question?
Hmm?
Is a four-page report necessary?
Yes.
Did anyone else get us a four-page report?
We don't do anything, so I was instructed to give you a day-by-day report. So that's what you got.
Quick question. I've seen them open and close here in LaFogger Street, Iron Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I overheard a conversation that we got a faulty part. And they were getting the sales company up here because we got a faulty part.
That's a long story.
It's a longer story than that. It wasn't actually faulty part, it's more like
The wrong.
misunderstanding
No,
of how to use it.
they changed the way they
Yeah.
did the part. And apparently nobody at the plant knew that or understood that.
Yeah.
So
The
after
question
they,
I have is who's paying for all these opening and closings that was going on in the town of Newland just because they can't get the right part or can't communicate?
they did.
They
Yeah,
did.
That was
So
all
we're
part.
paying for one open and one close.
Yes.
Yes, they sent the bill
We're
for the
sure.
project as it was,
Yes.
and that was it.
Okay.
Basically, the manufacturer made the seal to be modified. And apparently he didn't tell anybody.
Didn't filter it down.
And after Sam finally went through 2 times and 6 different seals, he got a hold of somebody he knew that finally explained to him what they were supposed to do, which was grind the seal out to fit. Because each pipe doesn't fit exactly the same.
It's
So-
universal.
Yeah, so they've made a pipe seal that you would have to go in and grind it out to fit your piece or your pipe.
Just as long as we paid for one open and one close.
We did. It was their issue, and they were going up to the manufacturer, saying, why do you keep sending the wrong part? But what it ended up is they changed their operating.
Yeah, they sent the invoice basically for the cost of what the project was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then they even came back and paid it back over last week.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they did that, so we didn't have to do it.
These
Nice.
pictures are from the upper aerator section.
Wastewater treatment.
My understanding
Wastewater
of it, yeah, the wastewater, but at the wastewater treatment plant, is they basically ran this side of the plant for, I guess, for 10 years, give or take. The plant has a 2007 plaque, and my understanding was they changed to the upper tank 3 or 4 years ago. And the lower tank basically was not cleaned, there was nothing done with it. It is what I would consider to be in disrepair. But as you can see from the pictures, there's very little concrete left on it other than the rocks are showing. So I'll let you see
So the
these.
mortar's gone, but the rock is hanging in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different pictures, but.
And just so you know, the USDA has flagged this.
Cleaned that, never got cleaned.
Sure.
That's like I said. I mean,
Yeah, we could look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
but basically,
So what are you telling them you need to do here?
well, I'm looking, I've had one person come in and look at it, I'm gonna get several more, because this is not gonna be a cheap. I mean, either we refurbish it and fix it, or you can build a new plant in 5 or 6 years, which is gonna be astronomical.
We're just now getting this one paid off.
Yeah.
So,
We still get old money on this
We
one.
have $849,000 on this, but we've got, we
talking,
ain't got it yet.
talking to rural water, Troy has got, they had some kind of thing that was going on to do stuff like this with refurbishing. They had 20-some deal, and then they're down to like 8, but he thinks there's one of those that has already went with funding somewhere else. So there may be some funding from rural water to assist with this, or maybe even pay for it. But his low ball estimate to do what we're gonna need to do down here was $4 million. I don't think that's just this one. Basically, we need to get this one back up, move everything back over, which the other side shouldn't be that bad if it's only gonna run 2 to 3 years. But, you know, we're at a point halfway that this stuff needs to be took care of instead of running till it breaks.
They have a concrete class down at Malin, I think you need to sign up for it. Learn how to stucco. Just joking.
You need more than stucco for this. But, I mean, hopefully they have some better stuff to put on the wall, like a ceramic base or something that doesn't wear like the concrete, but I don't know. Like I said, I've got one person giving me a quote, and I'm gonna get a hold of at least 2 more that do this to have a better quote, so.
Nice.
We need to know something about that pretty quick. We've got decisions to make, and we'll get better options.
Yes.
I'm doing what I can. And if any money I can acquire to help out, I will do that as well.
Thank
So,
you, sir.
and, I have other pictures, some of them are the dumpsters, some of the stuff. I don't know, can we do a food drive or something instead of throwing candy in the street? I mean,
Well,
you
Yeah.
wouldn't believe the amount of candy wrappers that wind up in the sewer.
Sheriff Henley he met with me yesterday morning in a minute and made some suggestions. We need to get with him next year,
Okay.
or if we're either one of us here.
Yeah, because it ends up in the
But-
sewer.
Yeah, and for safety purposes, so kids are not running out in the street.
Yeah, and after the hurricane, the system got flushed out. We haven't had a whole lot of trouble, but this morning was the worst I've seen since the hurricane came through.
It's all candy.
Candy wrappers and, you know, they get wrapped up in everything else,
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Now that the leaves are gone, and then the hurricane came through, but yeah, this morning was the worst I'd seen since all that happened.
So we got mop heads,
So wait a minute, what do y'all want to throw? Canned goods, what?
Do a canned food drive.
Just do a canned food drive.
For churches or whoever, for the county to give out food to the people instead of throwing food in the road.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people going hungry and we're throwing food in the road.
I mean, you can't have a parade without candy,
Thank you.
but there is
Yeah.
some suggestions about how to kind of control that.
Have it in little bags.
Or
Pass it out.
Yeah.
people that are, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we picked up probably 3 dozen or more candy canes that look like somebody shattered them, because when they hit the asphalt, that's
They
what they
just-
do, they shatter them.
No, it doesn't.
Any questions?
yeah, let's look at your water meters. I know that in talking, and I know this has zero to do with you, zero. But sitting on this board before, once again, crying over spilled milk. Were we not told that all the meters have been changed to the new ones?
You ask this question every board meeting, you've asked this question 11 times.
Well, I'm gonna ask it again because I want it on record. Were we not told that all
Yes,
the?
you were told. You were told we were down to about 5, and we switched out by the former director, Colby Benfield. What would you like to do?
You need meters?
Yes.
I mean, if you want them all changed out, yes. I mean, this is, there, some of these, we still need to confirm that the connections are the same, because they may have put a different connection in than what the cam struts are, so we're gonna have to make sure the 2-inch meters fit directly in the line, the 2-inch and bigger. They're not in a yoke, like the smaller ones.
Can you explain to these good people, like, the 3-inch, explain to them about the bank. I found the State Boys Credit Union of Great Interest. It has what size meter? I know, Bill, it's,
It has 2 2-inch meters, 2 2-inch manual meters that,
Oh, the brand new building.
in my opinion, should have been installed electrical meters when they were put in.
Yeah.
That's, I'm just trying to fix the current state.
Well, if they put in the wrong meter, why are they not responsible to upgrade it? Why are we?
I don't know who
We
put the
give
meters
them
in.
meter.
We give them the meter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the
It's,
manual,
it's our meter, and somehow they got manual meters, not electric meters. So now, our goal is to be electric
And upgrade.
and upgraded enough, which we've got the software now, to talk to her software, finance, so that she can do automatic billing. We're almost there. This coming month, we should be there. So that when he goes and reads and uploads, it'll upload into her system and automatically populate. The next step for us then will be, you know, you can get online and, oh, look, there's my water bill, I can pay it online. We're working to that point. But we're working to try to get, you know, one day, one person, or one day, two people, or 2 days, one person, to read all the meters, and an hour for her to get her job done, printing out bills and getting them mailed out. Whereas it takes her a day or more right now, and it's taken them an extra day because they gotta go manually read meters.
It took us 3 days to do meter reads this last
Yeah.
time.
And that's ridiculous, there's no reason for that.
You know, the third day was, there were 7 that didn't read, so it's not gonna be fixed as simple as he's making it out to
That's
be.
what I'm saying, I don't believe.
No.
Some of these are in metal tubes with metal leads,
True.
and the electronics for whatever
I'm
won't
trying to
read.
polish it a little.
But, yeah, the idea would be, Cam Strut never was set up right to begin with. There were no addresses whatsoever in it. All we had were numbers.
Yeah.
So the book she has the number that you have to reference to find out whose meter it is.
Yeah.
But when we read them the other day, we had 22 leaks showing. And we went around to at least 18 or 19 of those, it's in here, and made sure that the meter said leak. And some of these, when I got into Cam Strut looking around, some of these had showed leak for 5-6 months.
Yeah, so we have the tools, we just didn't have the ability to use them. We're doing that, but now it's gonna be a lot of manual data entry. This poor girl's been having to enter all these meter numbers. He's having to enter all the addresses, and then it'll eventually marry.
The last time Cam Strut was updated,
Sorry,
It's not, listen.
This,
that is that.
that's a highly technical term.
But the last time the meters were updated in Cam Strut were April of 21.
Yeah.
You had the right to remain silent, you didn't have to do.
Speaking of codes before you leave, I know that I was told y'all were doing an inventory,
Yes,
I'm getting to that.
Yes.
and we've come up missing several expensive codes.
Yeah, I guess a flashlight
it's not just a flashlight, it's a work light.
and, yeah,
It's-
work
A
light.
$900 work light.
yeah.
What the heck do we have a $900 work light for? What are you
Working
doing
at
on
night.
it? Huh?
Working at night.
Yeah.
We've got a couple different types of lights to help us work at night. This is
So
a,
it's
this is a portable one, and, you know, it's very valuable.
Comes
It's,
with a generator, I'm sure.
no, batteries, it's rechargeable.
Okay.
You know, we have lights on pods, you know, so we can, you know, stand them up and stuff. We've got this one that we get down into a ditch and work on it, but we've got 2 that we know of, and one's missing. We've talked to PD, they know it's missing, and they got a case, so.
Anything else we know of, like a major price?
So we did an OCA on this, boys? Wow, so this thing must be worth some money.
Yeah, it's about $800, yeah.
Wow, $800. Not that I'm aware of, I mean, until you go to get something, a lot of times.
That's what sparked the inventory. It's like, we have no clue what we're supposed to have and what we do have. and
Right. So,
Everybody's doing it, office equipment, everything.
I got plenty of work.
Thank you, Gary, for what you did.
All right, thank you.
Is anybody gonna say where we're at on the missing flag? Y'all got me intrigued about that missing flag site. Do we have any idea where it went?
No concrete proof of where it
So
went.
what you're saying is like Scarlett O'Hara and Gone with the Wind, brother?
All right, council comments.
I'd like to make a comment about, I think, how things went with the parade. I think that was the nicest parade that I've seen, and I've been here. So there are a lot of floats, a lot of these float people have put in a lot of work, putting the lights on these things, and getting that together, and doing things. For my part, seeing how it was coordinated stuff, I think it's the best parade we've had. And also, made my one appearance right quick through the rock gym over there. Didn't stay long because it was gonna cost me money. I think both events went really well, and I appreciate the folks that worked on that and the time that they put into it and how it looks. Thank you, ladies.
Good job, Lauren and Christie.
I would, thank y'all, that was great.
Okay, anybody else?
I do, we need to schedule a public hearing for the, annexation petition. January 3rd. The petition's been, provided to us, it appears to me, and I'll help Jennifer to certify that it meets the statutory qualifications to do that. We don't, you as a board don't have to make a decision at the next meeting, but we do need to have the public hearing, so, and that would be that, and then y'all can deal with it as you need to, but that's for you to have input from the public about what they think. And with respect to the tax collections, I have drafted letters, they haven't been typed on, it was out today, to the two taxpayers that you instructed me to. And for sure, one of them has a mortgage on it. When they bought it, they financed it. And so I'm sending out also a letter to the people that they financed it through that to let them know that our lien comes ahead of theirs, and if we go to foreclose it, we get paid first and they'll get whatever's left. So that may get them to pay it, and then they can go after the owners.
When could we expect an update on this? When would you expect to file this?
I gave them until December 22nd to get that, to pay and deal with it. And so I would anticipate trying to get the complaint ready and filed before the first of the year.
No heart whatsoever, Christmas time. Pay up or get out.
Pretty much, yeah.
Your local attorney.
Pretty much, yeah.
Harmless attorneys.
We waited 8 years to say something, we could've waited another month.
About the public hearing. We're gonna have folks here at this public hearing, supposedly. We usually don't. How do we answer their questions? Does any of us know anything about this grant that's coming through? Is it what the restrictions are on it? Can that be used to work on the sewer plant, or does it all have to go to going out of town? How can we have a public hearing and we can't answer the public? Because I've been talking to Bill Saturday evening, he said, I don't have a clue, I've not seen this thing.
Yeah, I have no clue.
So,
Well, I think the people that are doing that would want to be annexed will have a representative, correct, Gerald?
Yeah,
So-
he's planning to be here, but I guess the thing is, I don't think they know any more than
On the
we would
grant,
about the grant, about what the grant.
I've got to call in Dudley Green's office, so
Yeah,
I should get something back.
I'll forward you the email from Dudley's office on all that.
Okay, yeah, I just don't have anything, so.
to begin with, when they come and presented this to the board, correct?
I represented them before I came on board here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sort of gave them preliminary, and then I told them I can't represent you from this point on.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And an attorney out of Blowing Rock named Rick Matar represents.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt y'all.
You didn't interrupt us, trust me.
Okay.
As far as an annexation petition, public hearing, I mean, it's all, the only questions they're gonna ask is, why are we doing this? And, you know, it's, what value is it to the town? So they should be able to express to anybody what the value is to the town. I mean, I don't know if there is value, I haven't looked at it, so.
January 3rd, is that what I'm hearing for the
Yeah.
special meeting on that, for the,
No, we should have a public hearing.
And it's just a statutory, that's just
Yeah.
one of the steps we have to take.
The final step will be actually approve it or deny it.
Starts at 5:45.
We can start it before your regular meeting, or we can do it, you know, you'd either have to start it before your regular meeting or break your regular meeting to have the hearing and then continue your regular meeting.
You also need to advertise that for the time.
Correct.
Correct.
So that's what when you direct public hearing for next month, those are the details we'll need to have so we can advertise.
So directed.
So 5:45, so you're gonna be here at 5:45 for that meeting, okay.
And at 6 o'clock we'll start board.
And at 6 o'clock starts your regular
We
meeting.
might have more people here in attendance for a regular meeting than we would at 5:45.
Let's do it at 5:30.
No, I mean at 6, we could break the meeting.
Okay.
So you can open your meeting and then you can, okay. So we'll do it for 6:05.
6:05,
Yeah, it gives you time to open your meeting.
and then go to the.
Yeah, so you open your meeting, you'll do your, invocation, then
Okay,
then you'll suspend your meeting.
Okay, good, you're killing me
It's okay, we'll take care of that.
here. Okay, what else?
Good cancel comments. Get that line her up.
I'm just saying,
Ms.
we're
Gibb?
going back to Christmas thing.
Well, we are, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we are. Gail, you gotta have a comment. Give us a comment, anything. Georgia won football game. That's fine. Yeah. Yep. All right, Christie, anything? More?
I'm trying to get it. Yeah.
I'd like to thank those two for working so hard on the Christmas stuff. I would also like to extend thanks to you. You put in a lot of time and effort in decorating the light pole.
Yep.
And a lot of payment to the employees. But anyway,
Mayor Pro Tem Kenny Caraway?
Got one question, what happened, we moved it down to the last part about employee
well,
bonuses?
we are in good.
I think we need to go.
We'll get rid of it.
Hearing aids. Yes. Do you have any comments? We're trying to get done with the comments. You don't have any comments?
I've made the comments, I was just trying to tell these ladies how much I appreciate it and how good they look.
Yeah, thank you for the lights.
You're welcome.
Candy cake.
You're welcome. They look good. They worked out good. Thank you, Bill, for getting all the power to them. All right, let's get back to the employee bonuses. Can we, the Christmas bonuses, are we gonna do anything this year, yes or no?
I created a little sliding scale just to be courteous, 19 plus years, let's give them $500. 10 plus years, let's give them $250. Under 10 years, let's give them $100.
Okay.
This is something,
Yes. Ms. Gill?
and so we get the longevity thing worked out. I'll look down. We
Why
have
do you
to-
like to holler at me, you won't do it?
It's okay, I just, you know me, I've done this probably what, winter of 2018, I came up with a little sliding scale based on years. I don't know, 19 plus years with county on $500, 10 plus years, 250, under 10 years, 150. It's not much, but it's something.
And then next year we would do.
It would be
we'll
built
do the
into.
budget, we'll do.
Yeah.
Well, I can see going along something like this, as long as we understand it, that next year at budget time, there'll be a set policy made, and part of the process when a new hire comes on, they're gonna look at that and they're gonna know what it is, as a policy.
It'll be like after they're here, a year or 2 years, then it'll kick in on their anniversary date that month. Anyway,
That's, whatever we work out, till we have a set policy for it,
yeah.
till a new hire coming in knows what to expect, and whatever else, you know. I mean, y'all can call me Mr. Grinch if you want to, but I'm spending somebody else's money.
What do I think? I think we just need to set amount it, it's a Christmas bonus. I think we need to set amount it and do it across the board, because, I mean, it's not a performance bonus, it's not a longevity bonus, which you turn it into one kind of. I respect that. I think we just need to come up with a dollar amount, if we're gonna do it, give it to them, and roll with it.
It's a I like to keep reminding and reiterating, it's a Christmas bonus. That's what it is.
And then next budget year, if we wanna phase in the longevity, that's when we do it. Because, I mean, it's too late to really this year. I mean, I'm not gonna speak for any employees, God, there's enough of them in the audience, they can speak for themselves. But I think that some of them really use this to buy their families Christmas. And I'm a bigger Scrooge than Kenny Caraway.
Now, I don't know.
But I mean, I think, I keep thinking of that movie where you give them the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, yeah.
Or something. But I mean, I think we need to just set an amount and go with it. The money's in the budget or whatever. Huh?
Pardon? I couldn't hear what you said.
I mean, I just think that we need to, if we're gonna do it, let's do it.
Set amount for every single person?
Yeah, just bam, be done.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
What's the set amount?
What's the set amount?
Well, I was kinda liking the Jelly of the Month Club.
I mean, we can, what, Baker Elk gave you all a ham, a certificate for a ham or turkey or something? I mean, did you ever get a Christmas bonus at Baker Elk?
No. It was a gift certificate for a turkey, $12.
We still have 13 employees, Bill? Mr. Bill?
No,
How many employees do we have at full time?
we count 16?
Pull over.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
15.
15?
15,
Right.
14, I counted 14.
How many?
7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15.
Six,
I'm gonna count you, we can get you that.
3, 5.
Okay, I'm gonna go count you two, 'cause you're.
If we give them 250, it's $3,750. If we give them 300 each, it's
Do we have to
$4,500.
go do more?
If we were just to be real kind and do 500 each employee,
Stuff around the block, they're so, they're doing all this crippling on
you
the
know,
How much is it?
it depends. If you want to do 250, it costs the town $3,750.
Okay,
If you want to do 300, it costs the town $4,500. If
okay.
you want to do real kind of generous, $500, it would cost the town $7,500.
So we were over budget in 420 by $4,000. We were over budget, we were under budget, I'm sorry, by $4,000 in 420. We were $2,000 under budget in 510. We were $1 away. And 2,000, so that's $10,000 left in the payroll budgets.
Let's just give $500, be nice.
Let's just give them $500 and move on with life.
Let's give 500 for no plan.
Bill, wake up.
What,
Well, it's like, 500
for each person?
for everybody.
Ain't done.
Do I have a motion to give the town employees?
I'll make a motion to give.
Second it.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
500.
Do
You want that,
Do we
so,
have any opposed?
As soon as you can.
I do payroll tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, make it,
Beautiful.
it goes down, Shannon, 4 to 1, Kenny wants to.
And the morale better be high.
The morale better be
How
there.
much you want, 1,000?
I think we need to look at it, just like I said, I think somebody, just like I explained before, we don't start back at the beginning of the move. For employees that's been here 18, 19 years, don't get the same Christmas bonus, somebody been here 10 months, that's a slap in the face to them, I don't think it's fair.
Okay, it's voted and passed. Do y'all want to go ahead and close this meeting and then do photos and get out of here?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I'm gonna say,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.